South Park is one of my favorite shows. I'm not sure if you're a fan of South Park or not, but one of the
Mm.
recent episodes that came out is called The End of Obesity. And it's a part of one of the scenes, which I'll tag in the show notes, is Cartman is trying to get his weight loss medications covered. And so they go to the insurance company and the guy's like, hey, do you want to buy insurance? Like, no, we already have insurance. We want to file a claim. It's like, oh, okay, go into that office. And in the office is some 200-year-old receptionist and like a typewriter and a rotary phone. And they're trying to get this claim taken care of. And they eventually get to like this song of like, we're dealing with the American healthcare system. And they go back to the doctor and they need to see a specialist and they have to fill out forms, go back to the insurance company. And the insurance company was supposed to talk to the doctor and they didn't. And the song's like speeding up and getting more chaotic as it goes. And everybody knows that's what it is. Why does the health insurance model suck so bad? And everybody knows it, but everybody thinks that they have to be part of it.
Yeah, it's because so many people profit off of it. It's a $5 trillion industry now. And that if our healthcare system were a country, it'd be the fourth largest GDP in the world
Oh my
after the
goodness.
United States, China, and Japan. That's how much we spend on healthcare. And it's twice as much as anybody else. And not only that, but our life expectancy is actually going down. So the fact that we're spending twice as much and we're getting worse outcomes is really a conundrum. And it's because so many people profit from it. And ultimately, if you're sick, there's more profit to be made. If you're sick, there's more doctor visits, more hospital visits, more pharmaceuticals. And so you are, in essence, I always say, like, look, if you're not paying for the product, you are the product. And that's in essence what's happening in healthcare. Since we're not paying for it, our insurance company is paying for it ultimately. We're the product. People are making money off of us being sick. They don't make money off of us being healthy. They make money off of us being sick. And that's the tragedy of this healthcare system. I mean, I'll give you one little example, and I say little, it's a big one, but health insurance plans, they're maxed out at how much they can make off of us. So if we have $1,000 premium, they can only make $150. So, how do they grow their profit? From 10%, from 150 to 165. Well, that means our premium has to go from $1,000 a month to $1,100 a month. So the insurance companies actually want premiums to go up over time. And so you have the buyers of healthcare, health insurance companies, they want the price to go up. The sellers of healthcare, which are these big hospital systems, they want the price to go up. So, if both seller want to go up, what goes up? So that's the trend of our system, is that we just have these reverse incentives to keep people sick. And those incentives are kind of manifesting in a sick population that's obese and really expensive to take care of.
We had just a little bit of a Zoom ping on that last one. I just want to make sure that we captured when the health insurance wants costs to go up and the providers want costs to go up, cost is going to go up. I just wanted to reiterate that.
Costs are going up. Yeah, costs are going to go up when you have the buyer of an item and the seller of the item wanting the price to go up. The price is going up.
Yeah.
And so that's it's almost evil.
Yeah, and it's crazy. And it just seems to continually escalate. And I'll give you an example. I didn't get to see the bill on this. This was one of my clients that I work with on nutrition. He's been diagnosed type 2 diabetic. I believe he probably has type 1 as well at this point. And he needed to get some continuous glucose monitors approved. And he said that the bill came back for $4,500 for 5 continuous glucose monitors. And I said, what do you mean? Like, did that include the office visits? You're like, no, that was already paid for ahead of time. I had to pay for that. I'm like, okay, well, surely these include like follow-up visits, consultations, information. Like, did they sit you down and tell you what they were looking for? And it included none of that. And he only had to pay like 150 to 200 between his Medicare and his private insurance that he had post-retirement. But still, you're thinking like, why is this number so high? And where does this money come from? Does this just not get paid? Do we magically print this money? Is this taxpayers? Like, how is that even possible that these devices that probably cost a few bucks to make, and you should be able to get them over the counter for $50, $100? Like, how is that line item so high? It's crazy.
Yeah, it's totally crazy. And you're right. The actual device that you use is sub $10. So they're charging you $4,500 for a sub $10 device, which is tragic. And you're right. It's the taxpayers. If they're under Medicare, it's the taxpayers who are paying for this. It's me and you. And yes, they do print money. That if they do print money to do this, and therefore that's why we have the inflation that we have. And so it's all around, from my perspective, government intervention in our care is the ultimate evil here, from my perspective. Again, from my one man's perspective, that ultimately has led to escalating healthcare costs and rising obesity rates and declining life expectancy.
So for anybody who thought that the legislation passed, over a decade ago about the Affordable Care Act and the name itself, Affordable Care, like, okay, we kind of all expected that, open business, open networks, you can, pick and choose and shop around and find exactly the package for you. What happened? That was supposed to save everybody money, and it's insanely expensive to get on that kind of insurance. We used to shop around on that all the time, and the prices were asinine. Again, it would be tens of thousands of dollars that we would have to spend annually to even get a dollar covered after hitting the deductible. Like, what happened? I thought this was supposed to get more affordable for us.
Yeah, that 15% that I talked about earlier was codified in law for Obamacare, which means that the insurance company no uh, you thing not covered before are now. And so it's basically, people want everything to be covered, and that's where I think that we have a really big challenge. We can't give everybody everything and have a third party pay for it. If everybody wanted a BMW, the average price of a car would go up, because nobody's paying for the BMW, but everybody wants the BMW, right? And so you now, instead, because I'm not paying for it, I want everything. I'll give you one example where, and under the Affordable Care Act, birth control is now mandatory to be paid for. And if you look at birth control costs, they're basically flat. And then as soon as the Affordable Care Act went into place, they had this huge increase in slope. It almost went parabolic, because now the insurance companies are paying for it. And so people have no incentive to look for, good prices. There's no price incentive in this anymore. And so, given there's no price incentive, and health insurance plans actually want your prices to go up, the price of these services goes up. I don't know. Have you ever seen that graph where it shows over like 30 years, all the prices of goods, the trend for prices of goods? And so it's like electronics decline, TVs decline, cars decline, everything, like everything that you and I buy with our own money has gone down. What has gone up? College tuition, hospital services, health insurance, all the things that the government touches have gone up. And so it's just this crazy graph where you're like, how could you not look at this and say, like, when we're not buying the stuff for ourselves, prices will go significantly higher, will increase significantly higher than inflation. And it's because the government gets involved in these things, and the prices rise.